It was a pleasure to burn. I'm Mr. Mellow, and this is Oh the Humanities. This episode goes out to all of my pyromaniacs out there, because today we're talking about Ray Bradbury's dystopian classic, Fahrenheit 451. Fahrenheit 451 is a classic book in which Guy Montag is a fireman. But firemen in this world don't put out fires. Instead, they're tasked to burn books. Why? Because books are filled with ideas, and ideas can be very dangerous things. Here are 10 facts that you might not have known about Fahrenheit 451.
Number 10.
Despite Ray Bradbury having lots of, we'll say, strong opinions about television in this book, he actually did write a video game adaptation of Fahrenheit 451, which I'm going to say right now, if any of you all can find a copy, a way to play it, and get that to me, I will 100% do a Let's Play of the Fahrenheit 451 video game.
Number 9.
Most people know that Fahrenheit 451 was named that because 451 degrees Fahrenheit's the temperature at which paper burns. Or is it? Bradbury got that number from one scientist who he called up, asked, said, 451. I like the sound of that. But some scientists beg to disagree. It's actually, this is when paper will spontaneously combust when not introduced to any other flames. Also, if you look at the center of a fire where paper is burning, the temperature inside that flame can actually get up to 1500 degrees Fahrenheit. However, 451 is a very cool sounding number, so I don't think we can blame him for choosing that for the title.
Number 8.
Speaking of burning books, while this book looks to a dystopian future, it was actually inspired by the past. Bradbury was inspired to write a story about books being burned when he saw Hitler and the Nazis during World War II burning books. He was also inspired by the destruction of the Library of Alexandria, and imagined what it must have been like to lose so much knowledge from history.
Number 7.
Fahrenheit 451 was actually adapted from a short story that Bradbury wrote called The Fireman, which he wrote in only 9 days. However, he had a growing family at home and not much quiet workspace, so he actually wrote this book in a library using a coin-operated typewriter where he had to pay a dime an hour to write his story.
Number 6.
We know that if Bradbury wrote this story on a typewriter originally, it was written a few decades in the past, despite giving a clear look into the future. But now, in 2020, a lot of the technology has actually caught up to what he envisioned. And let's just say, speaking of new technologies, that Bradbury was very against the idea of having an e-book version of the novel. Bradbury, being pretty old school, preferred paper. However, his publishers did eventually convince him with a large sum of money.
Number 5.
Given all of these warnings of a dystopian future, it's no surprise that Fahrenheit 451 is actually one of the big influential pieces of dystopian literature, or a world that imagines a future that is not so great. Now, if you like newer dystopian books like The Hunger Games, or The Maze Runner, or Divergent, you actually owe a lot to Bradbury for inspiring them with Fahrenheit 451.
Number 4.
Lots of people consider Ray Bradbury to be one of the greatest writers of science fiction. However, Bradbury himself considered Fahrenheit 451 to be his only work of sci-fi, much to the dismay of fans of works like The Martian Chronicles. However, Bradbury didn't consider The Martian Chronicles to be sci-fi, because he considered it to be more of a space fantasy. He considered science fiction to be a work based on science that could actually happen, whereas The Martian Chronicles has lots of fantasy elements that could never happen in real life.
Number 3.
While most people take Fahrenheit 451's warning about burning books and censorship very seriously, if you asked Bradbury himself, he would say it's more of a warning about the dangers of television and how a lot of TV can just be empty distraction. You know, when you read a book, you actually have to do some thinking. But when you're just watching TV, it's a lot easier to take in information passively without really thinking about the content.
Number 2.
Bradbury's book featured lots of predictions about the future that are spot on. However, Bradbury would say he did not write in order to predict the future. He wrote Fahrenheit 451 to try and prevent the future he imagined.
Number 1.
While Ray Bradbury didn't set out to predict the future with Fahrenheit 451, needless to say, he got a lot of things spot on when it comes to technology we have now. For instance, if you use wireless earbuds like AirPods or Raycons, well, they were first envisioned in Fahrenheit 451. I'm not sure if I should mention Raycon since they're not promoting this video like they do with so many other YouTubers. Get at me, Raycon. What about a flat screen TV? If you have one of those in your home, well, Fahrenheit 451 predicted them. Have you made a call with FaceTime? How about gotten money out of an ATM? What about seen or flown around drones? And don't get me started on that mechanical hound. If you've seen what Boston Dynamics has been up to, you've seen these robot dogs in action. And, well, look no further than Black Mirror's terrifying episode, Metalhead, to see exactly how scary a real mechanical hound could be. Thank you for listening in to these top 10 facts about one of my favorite books, Fahrenheit 451. Join us next time on Oh the Humanities for more educational content. I'm Mr. Mellow, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day.